Y'all, so normally when I start lately, I have been using the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm, but this is what it looks like. I know some people have the Makeup Forever one that they use, or the Milk Makeup one, but this is a very affordable alternative. It was like $8. So what I do is I just put that all over my face to kind of wake it up if it's a little dry, and then I just take my hands and I smooth it in. You don't want to rub it in and be too rough or whatever. So next I go in with primer. This is the Rimmel London Stay Matte Mattifying Makeup Primer. So I have been using this one for a while, and I didn't think it would work good on top of this hydrate stick, but it works fine. I just put that in all the areas I get oily, which is pretty much my whole freaking face. But you know, just apply it where you see fit, especially if you're combination skin. You can just put it in the areas that are gonna get oily and leave it away from the areas that are gonna get dry, because we did put down some type of moisture, so that'll help you out if you don't necessarily want to put this everywhere. So at this point, you can choose to color correct if you want to. I don't necessarily do it because the foundation that I use is full coverage, but depending on any spots you may have on your face, any discoloration, that is totally up to you. But as far as what I've been doing, I have not been color correcting. So the foundation that I've been reaching for pretty frequently is the Makeup Revolution or Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation in the color F13. So this is kind of what it looks like. I've used this plenty of times on my channel with other tutorials, but it's just like the concealer. If you've used it, it's just a foundation. So it comes with a big old applicator. I love it. And what I do is I take what I have and I put it on my face in sections, because I just find that it works better like that. If you put it all on at once, it's gonna dry. Now this is full coverage. So, like I said, a little goes a long way, and I maybe have put too much. But it's okay because we're going to blend it out with a sponge, so it'll pick up any excess. I just take my Sonia Kashuk sponge, and it is damp with water. And then I just blend that in. Then I've been going on my forehead. And if you see that line on my forehead, that's from my scarf when I was like laying my edges. So that's a thing that may happen, but I always do my edges first, then I do my foundation. So I make sure I can get the areas I need to get, so I don't end up looking real mask-like, because that's what we don't want. Now, depending on kind of what I have going on my forehead, I may use this stippling brush. You can use any stippling brush, but you have to work fast, because look, sis, it dries so quickly. And I use this to get around my eyebrows so that I don't mess them up with the sponge. And then I can also use this to get into my hairline so it all meshes together. And then if it's not as blended as you want, just go back over it with the sponge to set everything in. But yeah, you gotta work fast if you're gonna use a brush with this foundation, because it don't play no games. And depending on how full coverage you want it to be, if you maybe see some spots that didn't get covered with you using the brush, just go in and pat a little bit more and then dab it with the sponge. I'm going to take my Colourpop No Filter Concealer. I've only been using this like maybe a week, but I figured out I really like it. And I'm in the color Medium Dark 36 to highlight. This is not my actual shade, but for my under eye highlight and all the other places on my face, this is what I use. And I just place that in the areas I want to highlight So I just, a little bit goes a long way with this. So I put about that much under my eyes. And then my chin. And I don't put it on my nose because I find that it makes me oily after a while. I haven't put concealer on my nose for the longest time, but I will still highlight it with powder. So then you just take the sponge and blend in that concealer. This dries pretty quickly too, so I would go ahead and try to work fast if you can. So then you can cream contour if you would like as well, or you can skip this step and just go straight into powder contour. But for the sake of video, I'm going to cream contour. So this is the one I've been taking forever and a day. It's the Ruby Kiss by Kiss, or RK by Kiss Pure Mineral Concealer, and this is in the color Caramel. I put that in the areas that I want to contour. So along my cheeks, a little bit on my temple, on the forehead. Nothing new. Same deal on the other side. You feel me? You dig me? Taking the sponge, and I try to go upwards and keep it in this area so that it creates the contour. Look at us creating stuff we wasn't naturally blessed with. Then I take the thicker end or the wider end of the sponge and I blend my contour back towards my hairline. So some people blend it forwards. I blend it backwards. I feel like it looks better, but you do what works best for your forehead, okay, sis? Because all foreheads do not come in the same shape and size. Okay, so this is when I set everything into place. I take the powder I normally take, girl. I'm trying to branch out on powders. But like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm one of them creatures of habit that likes to use stuff that I know will work. For the meantime, I take my black Opal powder. Y'all already know if you watch me, in 400 medium. Now this is close to my shade. I really lucked up when I figured this out. It just helps me. But use whatever powder you desire. I dip in my sponge, blow off the excess. And then I put this around my mouth, especially if it's mustache season, because look, you gotta do what you gotta do. But this goes on smile lines, in the mustache area, and around my chin. I also put it in the middle of my forehead. Kind of tie everything together, and then I put a little bit under my eyes so it's not too bright. I put it all over my nose and in between my brows. And doing this while the sponge is wet just really helps it melt into the skin instead of sitting on top and looking crusty, okay? That's the difference, the damp sponge. When I used to use a brush to put my powder on, it was a no-go. No-go Joe. So then I have been taking my Makeup Revolution banana powder, and it's banana deep. So I was using the regular banana powder, but then I just switched over to the deep about a week ago. But I just pour a little bit of that into the cap of the other powder, and I do the same thing. The sponge is still damp. I dip it in. I pat it under my eye. And that may have been too much. But it's okay. Just pat it under there. It'll sink into the skin the way it needs to. And look up so you don't set creases. Once you kind of looked up, you can further blend it in. Then I take that powder and I put it on my chin and then on my forehead. This is how I highlight my nose because it doesn't make it oily. Back end of the sponge. And then I buff in the banana powder. See? And then I buff in on the chin. Now to powder contour. You can do whatever you would like as far as which powder you use, but I'm honestly just gonna use the one closest to me, and that's normally what I end up doing. So for my foundation routine, I've just been using whatever powder is next to me when I'm doing my makeup. So I'm gonna take the one in the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette. So I just take this brush that kind of fits in the hollows of my cheeks, and I dip it into my contour shade, whichever one I'm using. I dust off a little bit, and then I go over in circular motions my cream contour. Now, the thing is to not go all the way down here. So I keep it right here to create the shadow. You see I haven't dipped back into the palette. I use whatever's on the brush and I take it as far as I can until it runs out. That's how you don't end up putting too much on your face. And if I dip back in, I go underneath my jawline to hide double chin. And I go under my lip because it just makes it look a little bit fuller. Now this area is looking a little funny, and that's okay because we're gonna clean it up, but you can just try to buff it in with your sponge. So then for my nose, I just take an eyeshadow brush, to be honest, if I can find one, and I use the powder and I just contour my nose. So that's all I be doing, y'all. And then I just go in around that powder. Now this is how I contour my nose, because this just works for my shape. You're gonna have to just kind of play around and figure out yours. Then what I do is just take a little bit of my black opal powder and mix it with that banana powder. I dip in my sponge and I go underneath my contour. So this helps clean it up if you messed it up, if it's too dark, or if you just want it sharper. You just use the powder and go underneath, and it'll cut them cheeks like you're carving a turkey. And so now I just take a big fluffy brush and I dust it away. And then this gives me the opportunity to blend everything together that may not be blended together. So that's why I say if it doesn't come together immediately, it's okay, because at the end it always does. After I dust everything away, I move on to blush. I just take my matte blush. This is by Beauty Treats. You can get this at the beauty supply, sis, on a budget. Okay. And then I just take whatever shade I'm feeling for the day. So to be honest, I'm gonna take just a mix of all of them. That's how I kind of create my shade. And it's gonna look crazy when I do it on site, but I try to get close to the contour, and then I sweep it up so it goes into the contour, so I don't put it right there on my cheeks. So now we look like a clown. Take your fluffy brush and blend, blend, blend till your wrist hurt, girl. Now that we have added some life back to our cheeks, the fun part is highlights. I kind of just grab what's near. So today I'm just going to be using my Wet n Wild Megaglo highlighting powder. This is in Golden Flower Crown. I just go in the areas of my Cupid's bow. Then I go on my nose, kind of creating that exclamation situation. Then I go, and this is just a brush I got from Shop Miss A. It's AOA Studio. It's the F13 brush to do my highlighter, but you can use any highlighting brush. Then I go right in this area of my cheek. So I start kind of in that middle, and then I take it up. Kind of on top of my blush so it all melts. And then I kind of do it just, I'm using a light hand and circular motions. Then I take my sponge and I pat it in. So this is a big step, especially when you're using more glittery highlighters, to just kind of pat them in so they're not sitting on top. At this stage, I either do faux moles or I do eye dots. And I think today I'm going to do eye dots. So when I do eye dots, I don't do both. I never do both because I feel like that's too much. But I just take some liquid eyeliner. In this case, I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Megaliner. You can use any eyeliner you want to, and I use black. Or you can switch it up, do a color. It's really up to you. But when I do it, I put them in the front. And then I put 3 on the edges or outer corners of my eye. So 1, 2, 3. Just adds a little something. I know Aaliyah's face, she does the white dots on the top and bottom, and I think that's really cute. But I don't have any white liner, and I don't necessarily like it on the top and the bottom because my eyes are so big. So I like it on the side. This is when I go in with my Rimmel London Stay Matte setting spray. So this is the Fix and Go 2-in-1 primer and setting spray, and it is oil-free, shine control, locks in makeup, and it dries quickly. So this is what it looks like. I just give it a shake, and then I spray. And I pat in, especially around that highlight area, just to kind of help it melt into my skin. Alright guys, so that is it. This is the finished look. I think it looks wonderful, if I must say so myself. So I hope this was helpful. If you have skin like I do, combination to oily, then this should help you out a little bit if you've been struggling with how to really solidify your foundation routine. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Helps me out a lot. And also make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, girl. Subscribe to the Trice Tribe. It's a good time over here. It's always a good time. I thank you so much for stopping by, checking me out, and seeing what I got going on over here in the space. It does not go unappreciated or unnoticed. I'll have all of the products listed below as well, so you can see or recap on everything I used if you would like to purchase it. That is pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.